absolute favorite type of word problem right here. I know I've said more than once that I really like solving systems. I don't know why. It's just something that I've always enjoyed. These are my favorite kind of word problems too. So a coin word problem, it's basically, think about, you reach into your pocket and you grab a handful of change. How much is that change worth? What type of each coin do you have? That's what we're going to be trying to figure out. But to kind of follow our theme of a system, you've only got 2 coins at a time. So like maybe pennies and quarters, nickels and dimes, quarters and nickels, whatever. You're not going to have like 5 different kinds of coins that we're trying to solve. So these are still 2 variable systems. And we're going to use variables that make sense. We'll use P for pennies, Q for quarters, that kind of thing. We're not going to default back to X's and Y's. So these are kind of cookie cutter problems. Every single one's going to be set up kind of the same way. We're going to build 2 equations. The first equation is going to represent how many coins we have, and the second equation is going to refer to their value. So, a penny's worth 1 cent, a nickel's worth 5 cents, a dime's 10, a quarter's 25. And we're just going to stick to those. I won't throw like half dollars and whole dollars at you, at least not for this. Okay, so here's our first problem. You have 16 coins consisting of only quarters and dimes. So no pennies, no nickels in your pocket, just quarters and dimes. And the total is 250. How many of each coin do you have? Now, that may not seem like a whole lot of information, but there's some things that you already know. You know what a quarter is worth. You know what a dime is worth. So we have those numbers in our head already that we can use to set these up. So the way I approach these, my first equation is how many coins do I have? I have some quarters and I have some dimes. Now, before we go much further, the Q is representing how many quarters we have. So if I have 4 quarters, whatever. The Q has nothing to do with the value of the coin. It is how many of the coin we have. So I have a total of 16 coins. I have some quarters and some dimes, total of 16. My second equation is where I pull these numbers out of my head. What is a quarter worth? A quarter is worth 25 cents, so I'm going to use that as a multiplier. A dime is worth 10 cents, so I'm going to use that as a multiplier. Now here's the only little catch, the only gotcha on these. When you set these up, you notice how I didn't set that up as 0.25 for a quarter or 0.10 for a dime. Well, since I pulled those decimals out of that, I need to remove the decimal from my dollar amount too. So instead of this being worth $2.50, it's going to be worth 250 cents. So, I know you guys have counted enough money in your lifetime to make that jump. So since we're not using decimals in front of the 25 and in front of the 10, I need to remove the decimal from the 250. It will still work out regardless. If you want to put in the 0.25 and 0.10 and use 2.50, you're just going to have to work with decimals. You'll get the same answers as I do. The nice thing about these coin problems is since that first equation was set up just single variable, it's easy to multiply these guys. I'm going to take my first equation times -10. Multiplying that top one by -10 gives me a nice cancel here on my dimes. Okay, adding these guys up, 25 and -10Q is going to give me 15Q. My dimes have canceled out, and I've got a positive 90 left for my constant here. Divide by 15, and that's going to give me 6. I have 6 quarters. When I take that Q value, I'm going to plug that back into my top original equation. I'm going to take that Q value and plug it back into my top equation. So I've got 6 plus my dimes equals 16. So when I subtract 6, I have 10 dimes. Okay, first equation's how many coins. Second equation deals with their value, their how many cents are they worth. Come on here. There we go. All right, quarters and nickels this time. Again, you can use X's and Y's, but you're going to have to kind of try and keep track of what each value or each variable represents. Stick with variables that make sense here. I've got some quarters. I've got some nickels. 24 coins altogether. A quarter's worth 25. A nickel's worth 5 for $3. Again, I'm going to leave the decimals out of my quarter value, my nickel value, so I need to remove the decimal from my dollar amount value. 300 cents, $3. Multiply this guy by -5. So -5Q minus 5N equals -120. Add them up. 20Q equals 180. Looks like I've got 9 quarters. Plug that back in. 9 quarters plus some nickels. I got 24 coins. Subtract out your 9. You got 15 nickels. Okay, no need to write them in order pairs. Just if you use variables that make sense, Q, N, P, D, I'm going to understand what you're solving for here.